so we're back to the foresty setting. But again, kind of sticking to the theme of last time, it's sort of in order of what characters you are likely to encounter, so obviously we're getting Earth Temple villains now. So we're gonna have like Pose, but like the blue kind. We're gonna have Redeads. I don't know what else is even in Earth Temple, like enemy-wise. I guess the Floor Masters. So that's gonna be fun. I don't know if there are actually Floor Masters here now that I'm thinking about it. So bombs do take out Redeads, thankfully. I think it takes 3. Again, it's not like we're having a shortage, so we might as well try to soften them up at least. I was hoping the one on the right would walk a little bit closer. This isn't exactly a great floor to do quickly. I mean, since he's gonna be standing right next to me, we might as well just do that, since he was already pretty weakened up. There you go. I think we have more to deal with, unfortunately, so we're not done yet with those. So these can be taken out with elemental arrows, and I think specifically ice arrows, and the hook shot. Also, we have Pose. I do remember that much. We do have Floor Pose, and I think Redeads both. I think these are also weak to light, but I'm not sure because typically they aren't fought anywhere that has a ton of light, so I actually don't know for sure. Oh yeah, and these guys, the purple shoes that you have to turn to stone. Now obviously there's 2 ways to do this, and neither way is particularly speedy. You can always just shine the light on all of them. You can also just wait until they jump into the light themselves, because they will actually come towards you and will jump at the light if you're standing in it. Like that, but with light. You know what? I wonder if light arrows would, how light arrows would affect these guys. I actually legitimately don't know. I assume it would be an instant kill because light arrows typically are like that in this game. But, since they're light element, I wonder if they would just stun. Yeah, we got Pose. Again, this one just kind of ran to the light himself, so that was actually really convenient. But these 2 are pretty far away, so I'm gonna try to get them both. Actually take them out before they go invisible again. Or more like intangible, because they're technically visible. I really don't understand, why Pose in particular feel like they go through the most radical redesigns in literally every game. Because I swear in some Zelda games, it's like, that's a Poe, and it's like, why? That has no resemblance. It's like, the Sorcerer in Hyrule Warriors, I forget his name, but it sort of implies kind of like a Wizrobe, but he looks more like a Poe in some ways. It's kind of like a hybrid of both designs, and yeah, like Phantom Hourglass has the most radical designs, I would say, for most enemies. Poes look very different, and I think we're only seeing like 2 places too. Alright, so we're making alright time. Luckily, you don't actually have to defeat all of the little urchin creatures. You can just kind of roll away, so that's always helpful. Light stuns Redeads. This is just kind of an unfortunate placement because he's right by the light, so we're just gonna do this instead. Yeah, that stuns them. I mean, you still have to do this, so it's just kind of redundant. I don't know if light can kill it by itself, or if you do still have to attack it, because I've never really stood around long enough to find out. I'm surprised it gave me that counter opportunity. It shouldn't have, but it did. Yeah, you can't do the little fast strat everywhere because there are some places without the little torches on the side, so you do have to do some floors legit. Sadly. This is kind of an awkward floor because of having, Moth and me, and also the shoes. Another Zelda thought I had is, I wonder if the Mirror Shield is ever gonna come back, because I think this is the last game with the Mirror Shield, and I feel like that actually would make for some interesting puzzle designs in future games, but I kinda... yeah, I don't think it's in Twilight Princess, because you just have the Hylian Shield. To be honest, the Mirror Shield in this game looks a little bit like the Hylian Shield. Like, I feel like it's an intentional design aesthetic where it's kind of comparable, rather than the sort of more out there designs of like Majora and Ocarina. The shields in Ocarina and Majora kind of look messed up a little bit, because they're kind of like faces, which was always kind of weird. It's like, why? I don't quite understand the design choice exactly. So also, fairies work automatically. Also, if you're standing in light, the Poe immediately leaves you, so I guess that was convenient. And a good way to take out that one. So yeah, your controls are reversed, which isn't actually that bad, so you can just run to this light here to take care of them. I feel like this game is fascinating from a standpoint of flexibility, because it feels like there's not a lot that you really need to complete this, but you can use a lot of different methods. Like, you don't even need bombs technically, because any floor with the giant statue enemies could hypothetically just, you know, pick up the bomb flowers on the floor. Like, you could use bombs to defeat Astolfos, but it's not really that necessary. Definitely helpful, but not necessary. Like that. The bubble just really got in the way. Also, I think light affects them. I guess not. Take care of you, and I'm not gonna use another bomb because we're at the end of this fight. Oh, there's another one. Never mind. Southwest designs are really cool in this game, I find, just because they're... just how you fight them is kind of cool, how they kind of crumble. I wonder if 2 bombs, how that'll work out. Nope, I guess its head bounce is too high up. Also, I don't think there's a way to like hookshot the head and just defeat it that way, but I think it stuns them if you do use hookshot. So that must be a floor, this must be floor 40. So yeah, we're actually making pretty solid time. Back to kind of the little ruiny section. I kind of wish the Earth Temple got a different theme, instead of just using the forest theme, and also how Wind Temple basically just has the forest theme. Not the forest theme, the castle theme. Alright, that is a lot of chews, so we're gonna do this. Like that. See how effective that is. Now, just having to kind of hit them all before they unstun. Got most of them, at least. Yeah, I guess if they're not close enough, it just stuns them. Still not bad. Oh, well, that works too. I've actually never tried using hookshot on them, but it's pretty effective. Alright, so we actually need the Skull Hammer, which is rather obscure at this point. Like, I do find this does have the standard Zelda path problem of, like, you need a power-up, like, twice. That's about it. Yeah, once for the dungeon and a couple more times for extended puzzle solving. It's, like, optional. I think Twilight Princess does it worse. Because I swear Twilight Princess has some of the most useless items. You know, the Dominion Rod is used, and also the Spinner used for like one required thing after their respective dungeons, so it's kind of like... they're very underused, and it actually legitimately does bother me a little bit how completely underutilized both are, because I think they could have done a lot more, but they just kind of didn't. I feel like Skyward Sword actually did a really good job with having power-ups applied to multiple dungeons, not just become kind of useless, because even like the Slingshot has applications even after you get the bow, which is not something you can say about most Zelda games. Obviously Ocarina did, because they had two sets of items for Child and Adult Link, so most items do actually get a lot of usage, and I would say Majora is actually pretty good about that, except for some situations where it does feel like certain items get underused. At least for the mask transformations, you do tend to use them a lot because of Stone Tower. But yeah, this is a fun floor. I say slightly sarcastically. Okay, extremely sarcastically. What the... oh. Unfortunate. If you hit the club, it'll stun you, so you kind of have to avoid that. Alright, so... away we go. They're luckily very far. Wow, they only took out one. That's actually really weird. I thought I would get both, but I guess not. Sometimes that happens where their like torso and legs get separated, but not the head. I don't know if they can reform from this phase. I swear this is also the worst game with redeads, because they're just exponentially more terrifying than normal. And it's just because they make that sound. Like, the sound they make is arguably, in my opinion, worse than what they sound like in Ocarina, or even Twilight Princess. I wonder if arrows can defeat Salphos, but they definitely stun Salphos, which is fantastic, really. Because it keeps them from bouncing all over the dang place, which is always a bonus. Alright, so 3 Moblins and two Darknets. I always like toss bombs into the center of arenas, just because even if it doesn't hit, it's worth, you know, trying to chip away a little bit of health. Like that. Yeah, Darknets and pairs are some of the most difficult enemies if you don't manage to take their helmet off. Both of their helmets off, I should clarify. I'm not really sweating in terms of taking a lot of damage, because 3 fairies, so that means we can die 3 times effectively and be fine. That was good, because we took out the helmet of the other guy, even though we're actually parrying that one, I'm pretty sure. Wow, I did not expect that Darknet to go down so quickly. didn't even take out the body armor, and still managed to defeat him pretty quickly. Alright, so this is a kind of iffy floor. Darknuts and Wizrobes, two of the more interesting enemies, try to fight at the same time. So one thing you can always do is you can use a Skull Hammer combined with Ice Arrows to get a one-hit KO. Yeah, see, that's why rolling doesn't usually work well, so I usually like to try to position them in a line. So hopefully when Link does the upper attack, the jump counter, he will take out both helmets. I like having, like trying to sort of get it down to kind of a science, if that makes sense. Try to develop a method to quickly and relatively hassle-free defeat these enemies. Sometimes it doesn't work, though. This floor is a mess, because while you're trying to chip away at a Stalfos, a bomb might just go off behind you, or whatever. Like that. In that case it worked, because, taking the hit was worth it, because it took out the Stalfos faster, but two of them faster. But other times it doesn't quite pan out like that. Alright, so hopefully we're at the end. I think we're getting close-ish. The one weird thing is you always get the soup item, but like in my case, I almost never actually use it. Oh yeah, there's fire statues around the area. So this time you fight like so many Darknuts all in one spot, which is always fun. I don't know if this will do anything. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. This is the hardest fight because it's hard to like group them in a way that you can actually do damage. Like that. Like, see, that worked. But a lot of counters just don't pan out. That was a case of trying to block it and not parry properly. Now they're just kind of damaging each other. Finally got one. And a reminder, these are kind of rare, the ones with shields, so if you need a picture of them for the Nintendo Gallery, this is a perfect chance to do so. This is the last floor, by the way. I think it's pretty obvious that this would be the last floor, just by the very nature of, frankly, having this many enemies in one room. You got the Hero's Charm. This mystical trinket gives you the ability to see the life forces of your foes. Touch its icon on the item screen to equip it. Here it is. It looks terrifying. I'm not a fan. But yeah, it lets you see enemy health bars, which is really cool, but also slightly disconcerting. I kinda wish you could see health bars without having the Hero's Charm equipped at all times, but what are you gonna do?